I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, January the 20th, brought to you in part by Macrocin by Bimeda. Battle bovine respiratory disease with Macrocin, the fast-acting, easy-to-use tulathromycin injection you've come to count on. For more information, go to macrocin.com. Also, Joplin Regional Stockyards in Carthage, Missouri, big sale for them here today on Monday the 20th. They're going to be starting early. They're going to be starting at 4 o'clock in the morning. They will be on big bunches by 6:30 in the morning. Here today, Monday, January the 20th, they're expecting 13,000 head of cattle. So big sale for them. Guys have been waiting for the market. They wanted to get the full tilt out of it. Well, it appears we've squeezed all there is out of it, and maybe starting to back up a little bit. So here come those guys that were waiting for the extreme top. Probably would have worked better if they would have brought them last week, but the market's still awfully good and near all-time record highs. So it's a good time to bring them, and everybody's in good spirits on this inauguration day, January the 20th here. And good riddance to Mr. Magoo. I kind of coined President Biden as Mr. Magoo when he first showed up, and I tell you what, every single day he reminds me more of that old cartoon than he did the day before, and it's just unbelievable what he's put us through and the failure of a presidency that it's been. I know I'm going to get people writing in about this, but this is my report, and I'm conservative, and these are my views, and apparently a large percentage of the country agree with me because they overwhelmingly voted him out. But and I don't know that we can really hold Mr. Magoo up for all the failures of his presidency. It's obvious that he was just a puppet the whole time. And it was some unelected deep state people there that had no business but had way too much influence on him that were pulling the strings right up until the end here, where he commuted or pardoned an all-time record number of people. And I'm sure he didn't know any of the cases or anything about him other than his son that he did that for. But he's gone, and I know, I always get it, some fool is going to say, well, we had all-time record cattle prices when President Biden was in. He had absolutely nothing to do with that. It was in the cycle. It was time. We've got the smallest cow herd in 73 years. That's why we've got all-time record prices. And whoever's sitting in office whenever those cycles come around, that's who is going to be there when cattle prices are high. Now, if inflation hadn't been so high, but you've got to give the high price of beef, you got to put inflation in there a little bit because it is inflation on the retail end. So, but we're going to have all-time record high cattle prices if the costs of everything, all the input costs, the horrible inflation hadn't been nearly as bad. It would have been better for producers. And so we can say that, but still we're just can't wait to get this border sealed up. Can't wait to start getting inflation under control. That's another thing that has kind of dampened the all-time record prices for these cattle, is the cost of money is so expensive, and that's taken a lot of the fun out of it too. But we're just very excited and optimistic, and hoping for the very best of the future, and you can just feel it, the number of people that are getting excited about this, the number of people that have gotten behind Trump, and big leaders in trade and leaders in all different parts of this country are now squarely behind him. He's never been as popular. Mr. Magoo's never been so unpopular. And I think we're in a good time. We can all kind of get in line right behind him and let Donald Trump have the pointy stick and get out and attack the future, and we hope for the best. But the record cattle prices, the rally kind of sputtered last week, and my gosh, it was so impressive. Nobody, I don't care who they are, would have told you that, especially feeder cattle and calves, would have gotten as high as they did. Maybe some people would have guessed the fat cattle market would have gotten as high, and but all of them kind of sputtered. We are going to have a higher weighted average on your 5-area feeding region for fat cattle, but it was clear by the end of the week, by the end of the trading week, that it had also sputtered, and so we're just we're enjoying all-time record highs up here. We're hoping that this is a plateau up here, and we're going to get to walk in some level ground for a while and continue to enjoy these all-time record high prices. But you know, by Friday and Saturday, even at some of your more premium sales in Nebraska and places like that, your top prices on feeder cattle were coming off quite a bit. But a lot of that had to do with the bitter cold temperatures that really attacked the entire nation this past weekend. I mean, they had frozen cattle tanks all the way into South Texas, guys, and just bitter cold in the upper Midwest and northern plains and all around. And people can't get too excited about the cattle production when they're doing that. So that's another reason that the prices kind of come off a little bit. And if we see improved weather, we might see it bounce back up there and get real steady with where we were at. But just kind of a big transition here on Monday, January the 20th. I have to tell you, I had a big weekend, and I always share my personal stuff with you guys. Was at Heritage Place racehorse sales, and we were pretty active there, getting a lot of action online. And was in Oklahoma City over the weekend, and it was cold there too. But had gotten tickets to go see one of my favorites, Alan Jackson, country music singer, perform there at the big arena in downtown Oklahoma City, and was really looking forward to that and excited about it. And anyway, went to it, and even though I thoroughly enjoyed it, it turned out to be one of the saddest things. I've been to funerals that were chippier than that concert was. I was not prepared for the condition of Alan Jackson. You know, I think the last time I really noticed him, he was water skiing on a slalom, you know, with his ostrich boots on, which was pretty cool. But I mean, he's suffering now. I mean, he's only a little over a decade older than me, and he's suffering from a neurological disease and could barely walk across the stage. I mean, took everything he had to walk across the stage. And then when he starts telling you, this is the last tour that he's going to be on, and not going to be stopping in all the places that he's stopping on this tour again, and he starts going back and telling you about the beginning of his career, and starts telling you about the songs that he wrote, and you're thinking, you know every single word to those songs, and then he's reminding you that those songs are 40 years old. And I tell you what, it was just a kind of a eye-opener, and I noticed all around everybody had the same feeling that we had, and you just it makes you realize that you're getting older, and he was very appreciative of his life and all of his fans and all of his success and everything. But I tell you what, he was suffering. And anyway, I just wanted to share that, guys, with you, and just if you've got your health and you're feeling good, and you've I don't care how old you are, if you're feeling good, do things and enjoy yourself, and just remind yourself, everything's really important until you lose your health, and then that's the only thing that's important. But let's talk about the board for the week last week. February live cattle futures on Monday were down $1.37. Tuesday was unchanged. Wednesday was up $1.12. Thursday down $1.92. And Friday up 15 cents, with your February live cattle futures ending the week at $196.75, down $2.02 for the week. April live cattle ended the week at 197.50. They are the highest live cattle futures contract traded month that we have, and they still are 197.50, even though our weighted averages are going to be significantly higher than that. But that was down 197 for the week. January feeder cattle, Monday was down 50, Tuesday was up 2 1/4, Wednesday was up $1.12, Thursday down 177, and Friday up a nickel. So January feeder cattle ended the week at 273.50. That was $1.15 higher for the week. And your board was worried about having to chase down your index levels. Well, those index levels are going to be coming down considerably here this week, and then just like always, they'll meet up with your January or your spot feeder cattle traded month there, but they're going to be coming down significantly this week, and you can watch them do it. March feeder cattle ended the week at 268.05, down 135. Look at your grains. Corn ended the week at 484 1/4. That was up 13 3/4 cents a bushel. Beans ended the week at 1034. That was up 8 3/4 cents. And hard red winter wheat for March on Kansas City ended the week at 584 1/2, and that was up 32 3/4 cents. So grains gained pretty good. Your fat cattle trade up through Thursday, about 2 o'clock, had traded 52,200 head, and that's a fair movement. Again, that means you had some middle of the week trade there, and we did. Your live prices ended up uneven, from 4 higher on the bottom side to 1 lower on the top side, from $2 to $2.06 in your 5 area feeding region. Direct negotiated trade there. Your weighted average up through Thursday was 203.56, and that was still up a little bit more, up 95 cents. It's going to be coming down just a little bit with a little bit of addition. Well, maybe not. It may stay about the same with the addition of Friday's trade, and once it gets in there, we'll give you that on our next visit. But your dress trade ranged from 318 to 327. That was $1 to $3 higher. Your weighted average on dress steers in the 5 area was 321.49. That was up 141. So, but by the end of the week, we started noticing that the shine was off of your direct fat cattle too. Friday, we had some more sales. Iowa sold 2,400, 21,600 for the week. Live prices in Iowa 203 to 206. Dress prices 322 to 330 still. Nebraska 3,000 head for Friday, 26,200 for the week. Live prices in Nebraska on Friday 203.5 to 205. Dress prices at 322. Kansas sold another 350 on Friday, about 8,600 for them for the week, and live prices just $2 to 201. And Texas didn't have any sales on Friday. They sold 1,550 for the week. But box beef cutout values gained a lot of ground, up big. Choice cuts, your weighted average on all of last week's cuts, 330, 351. That was up 449 for the week. Your weighted average on select sales, 318.71, up 1108 compared to the previous week's weighted average. That choice select spread on your weighted averages was under $15, and it has been narrowing as select has really launched here in the last week or two, and select and choice hasn't so much. But all that information based on 668 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Slaughter for last week, 603,000. That was 14,000 more than the previous week. Just 2,000 less than the same week a year ago, and we had been running way ahead of the same week a year ago, but they had some pretty serious wintry storms a year ago this past week, and they ended up having a 31,400 head slaughter on Saturday. A year ago, Saturday, this past Saturday, we slaughtered 1,000. So that's the difference right there. Talk about your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DVAuction ended the week at 277.44. That was down $1.26 for the week. down $1.26 for the week on your real-time index there. Latest CME cash feeder cattle index sitting at 277.06. Sales coming up here on Monday. Do not forget about OKC West El Reno Livestock Market special dispersal that they're having here today on Monday starting at noon after their weigh-ups. Homer Ryan from Frederick, Oklahoma is having a complete dispersal, 350 head. I mean top quality and mostly young replacement cows there. Most of them are Gardner sired there and heavy bred. So you want to check those out. That is a really, really good opportunity to get to tap into a closed herd. Guys, you can't just go to the sale anytime and get cattle off of a closed herd and you can just bid with confidence, because you know you're getting true blue things right there, and they're not just at the sale barn for a reason. They're there because they're having a complete dispersal. But your cash feeder sales last week, your trends early in the week, your sales were higher, continued higher, because they were trying to catch up with the market. And some of those early week sales this past week did not have much of a sale the previous Monday because of snowstorms and things like that. So they were higher, but by midweek we had flattened out. And then, like I mentioned a while ago, by the time we got to our Friday and Saturday sales, you started seeing some lower prices, and we haven't seen lower prices here for quite some time. But talk about some sales, and your late week sales, some of them are as much as $2 to $5 lower, especially on steers and the steers that had gained so much ground, like your 6 and 7 weight steers. But one sale that had a humdinger on Friday was Dublin Livestock in Dublin, Texas. And you said, you hardly ever talk about any Texas sales. We don't have that many Texas sales that really amount to much. But when they have those wean back specials, it's some of those Central Texas sales that they've just started to have here recently. I mean, in the last few years, it's pretty impressive. And Dublin's doing a good job there. They are a DVAuction broadcaster. We work with them. They sold 2,300 head on Friday, and you just don't hear about that. They offered several load lots, including in the load lots they had some really high stick-out prices, especially for the area. They sold 80 head, a load of 729-pound steers. Of course, they were all weaned and vaccinated, which that's why you don't see big prices in your Texas sales, because hardly any of them are. But that load of steers weighed 729, bring 301.85. Another load of steers, similar weight, 80 of them, weighed 724 and bring 308. Now, you just don't see that in an auction market in Texas. But congratulations to Dublin Livestock there in Dublin, Texas. Good job for them. Another one of our friends that had a big sale late last week was Nevada Livestock Marketing in Fallon, Nevada. He had another one of his specials there and had 7,900 head. You just don't think about a sale barn out in the middle of northern Nevada having 7,900 head through the ring. And it was just very impressive. They ended up selling most of the cattle on Friday and cleaned up on Saturday there. But you look at this report here that said your three weight steers averaged 429. Now that's pretty impressive, because not all of them would have been, absolutely beautiful. But a top price on the 3 weights was 458. 4 weight steers averaged 387 with a top price on them of 438. 5 weight steers averaged 337. Top price on the 5 weight steers was 379. And 6 weight steers averaged 299 with a top price quoted on 6 weight steers of 320. There was a lot of those cattle that were bought over DVAuction and going back east out there for backgrounding, but more of them stayed over on the west side, especially in Northern California, and be turned out on grass and things like that. But really good sale there. Nevada Livestock Marketing in Fallon, Nevada. Some individual quotes that happened late last week or over the weekend. One was Winter Livestock Auction in Winter, South Dakota. They had one heck of a sale. The top quote I saw out of there was 77 steers, weighed 691, almost 700 pounds at 327. Wow. How about Burwell Livestock Market in Burwell, Nebraska? 244 head of steers in Burwell averaged 495 at 389. That is impressive too. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere late last week or over the weekend, and your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Magnus Livestock Market in Huron, South Dakota. They sell 62 big steers, weighed 926 at 275. And that's your feeder flash for Monday.